Am I right?
Yes po.
Okay. Well, my apology. I'm very, very sorry if we're gonna start our time at this very moment because yeah, I don't know what happened to our internet connection. Okay. Yeah, but I called and then they said yeah, it's cable interruption, something like that. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to go a little bit faster because I also have class at 1:30. So, yes, if you wish to eat while we are having class, it's okay. All right, because it's already lunchtime. Okay? Yeah, I think I just need to discuss everything, okay, before we have our consultation. Okay. So, yes, Karen, please lead the prayer. Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Okay. Can you bow the heads and let's pray?
Wow.
Lord, grant that I may always allow myself to be guided by you, always follow your plans, and perfectly accomplish your holy will. Grant that in all things, great and small, today and all the days of my life, I may do whatever you require us. Help us to respond to the slightest promoting of your grace so that we may be your trustworthy instrument for our honor. May your will be done in time and eternity by us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
And the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Again, good morning, everyone. It's still good morning.
Good morning po.
Okay. Yeah, let me just check my internet connection. Can you do this? Internet connection? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now clearly? Okay, very good. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you do this? If you can see me clearly, very good. Okay. So, yeah, for this time, let me just give an overview, not actually an overview, but a bit discussion about the sections and titles, okay, of your chapters 1 to 3, because I observe that there are groups or maybe members of the groups who were not really able to follow what's in the manual. Okay. So, yeah, I think I have to discuss this to all of you. Okay. So, all groups, make sure that leaders, are all the leaders here? Can you please raise your hand? Okay, very good. All right. So, all leaders are here. Very good. Okay. Now, regarding your concern, class, about sir, there is a big changes in our title. Okay, we're gonna, yeah, talk about that later. Okay, about your title. Just like what I've said, I already turned over you, class, to your research advisor, so I don't have any power now to, to tell something about your title. The decision or the last decision will be coming to your research advisor. Now, if the problem, class, is like this, it's hard for you to understand. You ask your advisor. Okay, for example, there are changes in your variables. Okay, for example, if before you are studying reading comprehension, now you are studying about mathematical skills, for example, something like that. And then, yeah, I think the person you should ask is your advisor. Because since your advisor decided to change your title, okay, well, of course, let or allow yourself to be explained, okay, or allow yourself to catch the explanation of your advisor regarding that matter, okay, or regarding the changes of your title, okay. All right. um Jessica, are you hungry?
Kumain na
Oh,
po ako,
no, no,
sir.
no. Okay, very good. So I at least I know that all of you are still functioning. Okay, just like what I've said, class. If you wish to eat while we are having our class, you may eat. Okay, this is not very long, but this is the discussion of chapters 1 to 3. Okay, I know I already send guidelines in our GC, but yeah, I think I have to tell something about this. Okay. Okay, so for this time, our objective class is, of course, to identify the titles of each chapter for you to know the titles and, of course, the sections. Okay, every chapter has title. For example, the first one or chapter one, the problem and its background. So that's the title of chapter one, and then every chapter class has each or has sections, okay, that you must follow as well in writing. Okay, all right. So yeah, just a short glimpse about this. Look at the picture, class. This is actually your goal, the picture. Okay, for you to have your hard-bounded research paper or research study. Okay, the one that you can see right now in the picture, that's the goal. And at the moment, you are the animated thing on the left side. Okay, well, I want you to know that it's not that easy because as long as you write and as long as you understand. Okay, here's the journey in research class. As when you are understanding what's your study, okay, revisions will come. Okay, so if you think that you keep on revising your paper, well, you are almost getting on your track. Okay, that's how research writing goes. Okay, so that's it. All right, now just a simple glimpse, class, about a research paper. Thesis or a research paper is an academic requirement that enables student. Okay, senior high school is not exempted with this. Bachelor's degree, masteral, and doctorate degree. Okay, so these are the 4 degrees that has to undergo research writing. Okay, so now, of course, the assumption after conducting a research paper is you're gonna be able to have a deeper knowledge on the topic or on the field that you are taking. So in your case, class, you are all what? BE Ed students, right? Am I right?
Yes po, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So definitely, class, after this study, the topics that you have chosen will broaden your knowledge about what is an what is a teacher of elementary students or pupils. Okay. So that's basically the objective or why you have to go thesis writing. And let me tell you this, usually, class, it is composed of chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In our university, we have chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now, if you're gonna ask me, sir, mali po ba yung sa ibang university kasi they just have chapters 1 to 4? Yun na po lahat yun. Okay, now, the chapters, yung chaptering class, that depends on the university. Okay, for example, in LaSalle, they only have chapters 1 to 4. But the sections are still there. Kumbaga, bawat university class, they have their own format. Okay? But I want you to know that the content of the paper is still the same. Okay? Nagkaroon lang ng differences when it comes to standardize of their chapters in their universities. But, what we're going to discuss, of course, will be, the standardized content, yung content class of chapters 1 of thesis writing. Okay? Alright. So, for our university, we're gonna be following chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Just like what I've said a while ago. Now, let's have first the chapter 1. Okay, I already sent you a copy Okay, I am discussing this class because I want everyone not just to be a freeloader, but of course for you to know as well, okay, what's inside chapter 1, or what are the sections that you can find in chapter 1. Okay, yes, Romy, you want to say something? Romy?
Pindot lang po, sir. Sorry po.
Okay. So can you show yourself, because we cannot see you? What we can see is like this. Okay. All right. So class, okay. Let's go down. By the way, class, I hope that there is no freeloader yet in your group. Meron na ba? Okay, Karen, how's your group? What about you? Do you contribute to the group?
Yes, sir. Everyone is contributing and doing their part po. Because all of us po, tawag dito, nagmi-meet din po kami together for us to work with our chapters po, and even to going to the school din po.
Okay, very good. How about you, Aryan? Parang nakasimangot ka. Mukhang meron kang kagrupong gustong banggitin na. Sige, PM mo na lang sa akin. No, just kidding. Okay, so let's get down to chapter 1. Okay, again, the title of chapter 1 is The Problem and Its Background. So now let's have, okay, the very first thing, or the very first section in your chapter 1, and that is the introduction. Again, this is the approach class in writing your introduction. Okay, they are very particular on this: trends, issues, objective, contribution, or possible contribution. Okay, so of course, just like the example that I sent you, class, okay, you have to tell first the trends. What are the current issues on that topic? Okay, together with the exact issues that you want to address. Okay, objective, of course, what's your study for? Bakit nyo sinasagawa yung pag-aaral? Okay, and then the last part is, this will be the possible contribution of your study once it is successfully, okay, accomplished. Okay, just take note of this, class. In writing your intro, do not put much citations. Okay, majority of the leaders, this is the concern to me: sir, can we have an opinion in the introduction? Sir, can we have a lot of citations? No, class. The max of citation is 3. Okay, just to correspond to your input. Okay, it's not actually input, class. It's not actually opinion that you're going to write in your introduction, but that is your insight of your topic. Okay, insight nyo to, class. Okay, and how are you going to write that, class? By following the TIOC approach. Okay, very simple, class. Okay, you can actually write a 4 paragraphs following this, and then that's it. Okay, wag nang pahirapan yung sarili, because the panelists don't like very long introduction. Yung iba sa well, there are groups, okay, or maybe few groups, okay, introduction pa lang, ang kapal-kapal na ng papel, parang 5 pages na introduction. Okay, introduction could be 1 to, siguro max na yung 3 pages or 2 pages, right, for introduction. Okay, now do not use contraction, class. Ano yung contraction? Yung don't, can't, gonna, wanna. These are yung may mga apostrophes. Okay, do not use those. Okay, because thesis is a formal paper, and this type of writing is informal, as well as the expression ain't, yung I ain't that. Okay, do not use that ain't. Okay, so simple wording, simple sentences. Okay, as much as possible, do not use have, has, yung mga participles. Do not use those things. Okay, simple sentence, simple wordings. Okay, what matters in your introduction, in your thesis, is you are able to understand. Okay, in a very easy explanation. Okay, but of course you have to get of course, it has to be concise, detailed. Okay? All right. Next, background of the study. In your background of the study class, huwag kung ano-ano na naman ang ilagay doon. Okay? Nakapansin kasi ako, there are groups na parang, how can I say that? Basta kahit anong background lang ang nilagay. Pati COVID-19, nandun na, okay? When we say background of the study class, it is the chronological history. When we say chronological history class, these are the history from, it's like steps or 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, right? Okay, how the problem starts and how the problem prevails at the very moment. Okay, yun. When we say chronological history, okay, how the problem starts and how the problem prevails at the very moment. Okay, you got it, class? So that's for background of the study. Okay, now what's next? Okay, we have the theoretical framework. Now, class, make sure, okay, that the please do not read the example on the left part. Okay, nahirapan si Aliyah. Sabi niya ni Aliyah, ang liliit ng letters. Okay, it's not intended for it's not intended for reading. Kumbaga, I just want to see the sample section. Okay, the sample section on the left part. Okay, and then a brief explanation on the right part. Okay, so what you can see, class, is an actual paper on the left part. Okay, but it's not intended for actually reading. Okay, but just for you to see, okay, where will you put the section? Kasi yung iba, class, yung theoretical framework nila nasa gitna. Okay, kapag chapter section, class, laging nasa kaliwa. Okay, naka-bold siya, okay, nasa kaliwang part, upper left part. Wag ilalagay sa center, wag ilalagay sa right side, nasa left part siya. Okay, so that's the actual paper, class. Now, a brief explanation about theoretical framework, class. This is a published theory coming from a different study. Okay, now that theory will be the basis of your conceptual framework of the study. Okay, ganito. Look at the picture, class. Okay, ang pag-aaralan niya, ang gusto niyang pag-aralan is about the human evolution. Okay? So, kaya ang theory niya, yung nasa picture, okay? Yung, kaninong theory ba yan?
Charles.
Sino yan? Si Charles?
Ikaw,
Babbage o Darwin? Si? Babbage? Yes, Flores.
Charles Darwin po.
Okay, very good. So, ganito. If your study is about, for example, evolution of man, okay, of course, my theory, yung theory na gagamitin ko is tungkol kay Charles Darwin. Very good. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, that's the theory. Okay, naging foundation siya. Okay, kumbaga yung na-publish na, naging foundation ngayon, naging start-up. Okay, so that theory ignites your curiosity to come up with your own conceptual framework. Okay, so ganito ngayon. Kaya ka nagkaroon ng conceptual framework. Okay, now, there are two types of conceptual framework in your level. Okay, sa bachelor's level class, meron kayong dalawang klaseng conceptual framework. The first one is the IVDV, okay, and the second one is the IPO. Now, question, kailan po gagamitin, sir, ang IVDV at ang input process output? Okay? Kailan? Do you have an idea? Yes, Karen. Okay. If we're going to use IPO, input process output, okay, from the word itself, class, there is output. Okay, you're gonna use, okay, IPO, the one on the right side of your screen, okay, Input, process, output. Meaning, class, at the end of your study, you will propose an intervention or you will propose a program. Okay? Meaning, after your investigation of your study, meron kayong output. Kaya siya input, process, output. But, if you are just going to study 2 variables or 3 or more variables, for example, ang study nyo lang, gusto nyo lang malaman kung may kinalaman ba si reading comprehension sa academic performance ng student. Okay? So, hanggang dun lang. That's the limitation of the study. Okay? Now, you will use IVDV. Okay? You will label as independent variable yung reading, comprehension, and then you will label the academic performance as the dependent variable. And then you will just put arrow. Do not forget, class, the arrow. Okay? Kasi yung arrow, okay, that represents relationship and affection. Okay? Di ba si Cupido nga, di ba, arrow din ang ginagamit? Okay? To represent kung kanino siya na in love. Okay? In love ba ngayon si Elisha? Di naman? Ay, napangiti. Okay, I was just kidding. Alright. So, moving on. Now, what's next after conceptual framework? Your statement of the problem. Okay, here's the tip, class. In your statement of the problem, ang daming consultation sa akin na nangyari. Actually, before ako mawala ng internet connection ngayong araw na to, okay, may mga consultation about statement of the problem. Now, yung statement of the problem, paano ba i-organize yung questions? Okay? Yung organization, class, well, define muna natin what statement, ano ba ang statement of the problem? Ang statement of the problem, class, these are questions of the researcher. Okay? Question nyo to. Questions of the researcher that has to be answered by, paano siya masasagot? Paano ba siya masasagot? Anyone? By what? Yes. Jessica. Oh yes, Iverson.
Sir, depend po sa result po. Nakadepende po sa result tsaka po sa findings or sa
muna. Paano
date.
muna? Paano
sa data po.
You're
Sa data po na
The question is, how will you answer? Paano masasagot? Yes, Princess.
Sir,
Para na kukunin ng langit, Okay. Yes. Go ahead. May echo.
Sir,
Alright.
makakuha po yung answer po sa research instrument sa pagbibigay po ng survey.
Okay. Your questions should be answered, okay, by your survey instruments. Okay, of course, sa pamamagitan, class, ng survey instrument na ibibigay ninyo sa mga respondents ninyo. Okay? Hindi ninyo, take note, especially the null hypothesis. Especially the hypothesis, hindi nyo siya i-explain lang. Okay? That will be undergo testing or undergo after getting the data. Okay? So, again, research questions or statement of the problem are research questions of the researcher that has been answered or that has to be answered by survey instrument or research instrument. Okay? For example, class, okay? Sa mga doktor, ano ang research instrument nila if they wanna get? Okay? If they wanna know if someone is positive of COVID-19. Okay? For example, ang question ni Dr. Alma, okay? How will I know if Karen is positive in COVID-19? Paano? For example lang, hindi pala si Karen. Wag na lang si Karen kasi mamaya. Okay. So, 'di ba kailangan nila ng device? That's the research instrument, 'di ba? Yun eh. Kailangan nila ng test kit. Okay, sa mga doktor for them to know kung talaga, kasi doon manggagaling yung data. Okay? In your case naman, class, for example, halimbawa, sa botohan. Okay? Kunwari, ang research ninyo is sino ang gusto ng tao. Okay? Kung sino mananalo, si BBM ba, si Lenny ba, si Isko ba? Okay? So you're gonna use what? Survey questionnaire. You will survey, okay, the impulse of the people. Okay? Okay. O, sige, balik na tayo doon kasi baka may biglang mag-promote pa na, sir, si ganito dapat ang iboto. Okay? No promotion here, no political agendas. Okay? Alright. Under Section 5, we are not allowed to promote. Okay? Be careful of that. Future teachers, when you became teachers, you are not allowed to post in your Facebook account who will be the, or who is the candidate that you like to vote. Okay? So, bawal yun sa mga teachers. Okay, anyways, that's, how can I say? Trivia lang, parang ganun. Okay, going back, again, to your statement of the problem naman, when it comes to arrangement of the questions, class. Okay? Yung arrangement ng questions, mag-relay kayo doon sa title ninyo. Okay, for example, this is your title. Look at the example title. Okay, the level of reading, comprehension, and the academic performance of the selected grade 7 students. Okay, now, look at the first question. What is the level of reading comprehension? Okay, do you get it, class? Kumbaga, from the title itself, may summary ako ng pag-aaralan. There are two variables in the title. Okay? Yung first variable is reading comprehension, and then yung first question is about reading comprehension. You get it? Very simple, right? Very clear to your audience that what you're going to study is the reading comprehension. Followed by number 2 question. What is the academic performance? Alright? Do you get it, class? Number 3, if your study is correlation, for example, you want to find out if reading comprehension is correlated to academic performance, that's the question number 3. Is there a significant relationship? May relasyon ba yung dalawa? Kapag magaling bang magbasa ang estudyante, mataas din ang kanyang academic performance. That's correlation, right? Alright. Okay. So, number 4, what implication? Okay? Anong gustong, when we say implication, how do we define that in Filipino? Yes, Iverson. Iverson, when we say implication, how do we explain that in Filipino? Iverson.
Sir, wala pa akong idea. Ang lalim.
Implikasyon. Parang, malapit siya sa word na ganito. Ganito, Iverson, I will give you a situation. For example, kakakilala nyo lang ni Aliyah, for example. Okay? So, dito lang kayo nagkakilala sa subject na to. Napapansin mo, over the weeks, lagi kang binibigyan ni Aliyah ng pagkain. Ang gwapo ni Iverson, okay? Binibigyan ka ng pagkain. And parang nagiging mabait sa'yo si Aliyah. Alright? Now, where is the word? Yung naiisip mo doon sa action ni Aliyah sa'yo. Okay? Kung bakit kaya biglang naging mabait si Aliyah sa akin? Ba't kaya ako laging binibigyan ng food ni Aliyah? Bakit kaya lagi sumasabay si Aliyah sa akin? Okay? So, kung Iverson, kung ano yung naiisip mo doon sa action ni Aliyah, that's what you call implication. Okay? You get it, Iverson?
Ako, sir.
Alright. Aliyah, joke lang yun Baka na-offend ka. Okay. Sabi ni Aliyah, lugi ako kay Iverson, sir. Hindi, joke lang. Okay. Anyways, going back, questions about statement of the problem. Any clarification on this? Kasi vital section to, class, sa chapter 1. Yes, Alima. Any questions? Sure ka? Hindi ka naman nagselo sa example ko? Kay Iverson? Hindi, joke lang. Okay. So, if it is clear now, class, okay, please do not forget to, lahat ng members sana, class, alam ang statement of the problem. Okay? I'm just, cracking jokes kasi baka yung iba sa inyo gutom na at inaantok na. Okay? So, everything, biro lang lahat yun na, okay? I'm not pairing you to someone. Okay. So, moving on, class, to significance of the study. Sa significance of the study natin, class, meron tayong tinatawag na weak explanation and strong explanation. Okay? Magkaroon lang ulit akong disclaimer. I'm not pertaining to anyone. Okay? Kasi baka sabihin, si sir, pinapatamaan ako. Okay? Ayun yung kinonsult ko sa kanya. Hindi, class. General ko itong sinasabi para everyone will know. Okay? Kasi pagdating ng exam ninyo, class, hindi naman kayo group individual ang exam. So, I want everyone to know this. Okay? So, moving on, when we say significance of the study, class, you have to tell exactly how the following people or organization will benefit to your study. Tell exactly how. You answer the word HOW. How? Okay? If you can read the example, class, for example, one of your beneficiaries is a student. Okay, explanation. It may assist students in determining their reading reading proficiency. It will also encourage them to build a reading habit and to read appropriate materials. Okay? Hindi siya, kumbaga, if you're gonna look at the statement, class, it's short, but it is explained how the student will benefit. How? Paano daw? Okay? They will determine their reading proficiency. Okay? So, ganito yan, class. For you to measure, ganito sir, paano pa namin malalaman kung strong na yung explanation namin? Okay? That's the question Sir, paano ba namin malalaman kung strong na yung pagkaka-explain namin sa significance of the study? Ganito, class. You check the quality. Now, how are you going to check the quality? There should be quantifiers or you have to quantify. Okay? How are we going to measure the benefit? Kailangan meron kang statement doon kung ano yung naging benefit nila. For example, ang study ninyo, class, is tungkol sa... Karen, anong tungkol sa anong study ninyo, Karen?
DepEd TV program po in
Okay.
mathematics.
Okay. So, DepEd TV program in mathematics. Now, paano magbe-benefit ang student doon? Okay, for example, ang naging output ninyo, class, or ang naging result ng study is beneficial. Or sabihin natin, iba naman, negative. Okay? Hindi pala beneficial yung DepEd TV program. Okay, so you can directly say that the students, what? Anong dapat gawin ng mga students? Should they keep on watching DepEd TV program or read book instead? So, things like that. Kumbaga, meron kang quantifiers. May mga indicators ka. Okay? How are they going to benefit from your study? Do you get what I mean, class? Kasi ganito yan kasi. Hindi mo kasi pwedeng sabihin, mahal mo lang yung isang tao. Right? May dahilan, di ba? Okay? For example, mahal ko si ganyan. Kasi lagi niya akong sinusundo kahit mahal yung gasolina. Do you get that point, class? O, di ba? From that, kumbaga, mas satisfying pakinggan yung may reason, di ba? Hindi pwede kunwari, mahal ako niyan. Okay, bakit ka mahal? Di ba? Same thing goes, class, in explaining, class, the significance of the study. Make sure that you will go to the detail of how, paano magbe-benefit yung mga people or yung mga stated audience nyo or stated beneficiaries nyo sa study ninyo. Okay? So that's it. All right, definition of terms. This is very easy, class. For example, if your majority use the word academic performance, pero magkakaiba kayo, class, ng definition ng academic performance. Kung ang academic performance ninyo is yung grade sa second grading ng school year 2021, that should be the definition of your academic performance. Okay? You can say this refers to the grade of grade 12 students in second grading period, okay, in 2020-2021 school year, something like that. Okay? So you have to be very specific in the details here in the definition of terms. Do not get meanings from the dictionary. Okay? That's why definition of terms class, it is called, the word should be explained operationally. Paano ninyo ginamit yung word. Okay? You get it? Okay. Question so far. Go. Yung mga pinalitan sa chapter 1 ninyo, yung mga dinevelop sa chapter 1 ninyo na hindi nyo maintindihan, go. Come on. Questions? Arian, do you have questions? Okay, Mary Joy, Joel, questions? Yes, Aliyah.
Sir, maghingi sana po kami ng advice kung meron po kayong alam na website na pwede pampunan ng theory po.
Theory, ganito class, napakasimple lang yan. For example, what kind of theory do you want? Do you want about education? Type education on the Google. Studies about education. Now, ganito. You go to the Google Scholar. Okay? Ganito Pagbukas yun ng Google Chrome, lalabas si Google search engine. You type there, Google Scholar. Okay? Once na mag-pop up na class yung Google Scholar, okay, you type the theory that you want to have there. Bibigyan kayo ng maraming studies ni Google Scholar. Okay?
Okay.
I-type ninyo doon specifically kung ano yung hinahanap ninyo. Okay, sa Google Scholar. Okay? From now on, class, you use Google Scholar, not the basic Google. Okay? All right? And do not use Wikipedia. Okay? Kasi editable ang Wikipedia. May mga nagtitrip na estudyante dyan, pinapalitan nila yung information. Okay? So, that's it.
Thank you po.
Okay. So, now, let's move on to chapter 2. Okay? Sir, ano bang ibig sabihin ng thematic? Okay? Sir, ano po bang ibig sabihin ng chronological order? Okay? So, same thing goes, class. Tignan nyo ito, class, this is an example of table of content. Okay? Napansin nyo, magiging magkakaiba yung table of content ninyo when it comes to writing it on the table of contents kasi it should be according to the variable. Okay? When we say thematic arrangement, okay, it should be according to the variable. Alright? So here, example title, Application of Krashen's Affective Filter, Hypothesis in English Language Learning, and the academic performance of the selected grade 10 students. Okay? Now, take note, class. Review of related studies in literature should be arranged thematically. It means that according to the variables discussed in the title and statement of the problem. So, ngayon, sir, nahihirapan talaga ako intindihin yung thematic. Okay? Kung nahihirapan kang intindihin yung word na thematic, okay, you go to your statement of the problem. Diba sa statement of the problem mo, naka-arrange na yun? Okay? So, that's how you will arrange your RRL and RRS. Kaya tignan nyo yung dito sa chapter 2 na table of contents. Okay? The first discussion is the affective filter. 19. Next, motivation. Kasi these are the variables discussed, okay, in or stated in SOP. Nakakuha nyo, class? Lahat ng sections, lahat ng chapters connected sa statement of the problem ninyo. Okay? Now, at the end, pag naubos nyo na lahat, pag na-discuss nyo na lahat ng variables, class, make sure that you will have synthesis at the end of your chapter 2. Bago kayo mag-chapter 3, you should have synthesis. Now, sir, what is synthesis ba? Okay? When we say synthesis, ito yung discussion part class ng similarities and or differences na na-review nyo sa nakuha nyong studies in literature. Okay? Yan yung i-discuss ninyo dyan sa synthesis part. Got it? Sure?
Sir, question po.
Yeah, sure.
Di ba pwede po kami gumamit ng mga sources na in-include po namin sa chapter ko? Mga ilan po yung maximum na pwede namin include sa synthesis?
Sa synthesis class, ito yung comparison and differences nung mga studies na nilagay nyo. For example, itong example ko, ang lahat ng nasa review of related studies niya, ang lahat ng nasa chapter 2 niya is effective filter. Topic about effective filter, motivation, self-confidence, anxiety, academic performance. Okay? Now, these are the things shortened. Okay? Shortened or discussed shortened in the synthesis. Okay? Now, ano yung laman ng discussion? Yung similarities at saka differences. Okay? Pero, brief explanation na. Okay? So, kung meron kayong i-discuss ng mga benting variables or benting studies, okay? Sa synthesis, brief explanation na ng similarities and differences. Okay? Doon sa synthesis part. Ng mga pinaglalagay ninyo. You got it? Okay na? Any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, let's move on. Chapter 3. Okay? The title of Chapter 3 is Research Methodology. Okay, class, wag niyong iibahin na nasa paper ninyo. Kung ano yung nandito or kung ano yung nasa manual na sinend ko, okay, yun din ang ilalagay ninyo. Okay, kasi yung iba sa chapter 3, discussion of results na. Okay, discipline yun sa ibang school. Okay, we will follow the format of PLP. Okay, bakit ba natin kailangan i-follow yung format ng PLP? Yes, Alima.
Para isa na lang po lahat ng format.
Yes, okay. Hindi, tsaka yun yung standardized ng school natin. Okay. So, kapag hindi mo finalo ang format, of course, ipacheck mo yan doon sa university. Nakaparehas ng format na yan. Okay? So, that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. So, now, these are the content class or the sections. These are the sections under Chapter 3. Titled Research Methodology. So, the first part is research method use. Now, hindi naman ibig sabihin class na sobrang ikse, hindi naman kailangan sobrang haba din. As well na in this section, the researcher explains thoroughly why did you use this method. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag ko. For example, sabihin nyo lang, bakit descriptive? Bakit descriptive correlation? Or bakit experimental? Okay? Tapos, of course, there should be basis. Okay? Ganito yan. Malalaman natin, class, if the explanation is strong, if that explanation has basis. Okay? Kasi yung basis mo ang magsusupport doon sa insight mo. Yun ang ilagay sa utak, class. Paano ba niya, sa lahat ng paper, sa lahat ng type of writing, paano nyo ba malalaman kung malakas ang statement ninyo or maganda? Okay? Kung meron kang basis, class. Kasi yung basis mo, that will support your insights. Okay? Alright. So now, let's move on to the population and sample size. Okay? Magkaiba sila, class. Do not use it interchangeably. Okay? Now, in this section, the detailed information of population and sample size. Okay, now, look at the picture. When we say population, it is the entire number. For example, ang respondents ninyo will be grade 6. Ilan ba ang total population ng grade 6? Okay, now, yung sample ninyo, that will be the proportion for your study. Pero hindi kayo ang magde-declare ng proportion nun. Okay? You may use, actually maraming way, okay? But as a beginner writer, you may use Sloven's formula. Okay? Yung Sloven's formula, this is the formula for you to get the proportion sample. Okay? Of the entire population. Okay? So that's it. Now, Sloven's formula, this is the formula. Yung maliit na n, that is the sample size. Pero bago mo makuha yung maliit na n, of course, you need to have the malaking n. Yung malaking n is the population and E is the margin of error. Okay? So, I already discussed the population. The letter E is the margin of error. That depends na class sa statistician ninyo kung ano ang margin of error, but usually 0.5 ang margin of error. Anong ginamit ninyo?
Wala,
Yes.
Hindi pa po kami nag-consult, sir.
O si Karen daw meron na 0.5. Yung sa inyo, Jean Flores, 0.5 din. Okay, very good. So usually kasi 0.5 ang margin of error. May purpose din class ang margin of error as discussed ni Dr. Manuel, di ba? Okay? So, yung pang-academic papers, that is 0.5. Okay? Pero yung sa medical, parang 0.1 yata. So, yung may accuracy level kasi hinahanap. Anyways, we're not gonna get, so deep on the statistics part. Kasi, your statistician will discuss about that. Okay? So, here's for population and sample size. Now, for sampling technique class, of course, you're gonna explain here kung anong sampling technique. Kaya ganito class, kapag sinabi ni statistician, okay, we're gonna use simple random sampling. Okay po, wag ganun. You have to ask our statistician, ma'am, why should we use stratified random sampling? Ma'am, why should we use convenience sampling? Okay? Kasi, on your defense, okay, the panelists will ask that. Bakit kayo nag-simple random sampling? Okay? Kasi po, ang thesis namin is non-probability or probability. So, something like that. Okay? So, that's what you need to ask to your statistician. Now, for instrumentation, you're very familiar on this. Okay? So, in your instrumentation, you have to discuss, of course, kung adapted ba to or researchers made. Okay? Kung adapted, anong klaseng adapted? Is this standardized or hindi? Okay? Ganito yan, class. May mga material available that will be coming from different teachers. Okay? But it doesn't mean that's already standardized. Okay? Now, paano ba natin i-define yung standardized? Okay? When we say standardized, that is what? Anyone? Yung NSAT. Familiar ba sa NSAT? NTAP?
Ay, enta.
Di kayo nag-undergo ng ganun nung high school? NTAP? NAT? NAT na nga pala yung batch ninyo. Sorry, that's my batch, NTAP. Okay, yung batch ninyo, ang standardized na is yung NAT. Okay? Yun yung i-measure yung competencies acquired ng mga students. So, ibig sabihin, national use na siya, di ba? When we say national, lahat na ng public schools yun ang ginagamit. So, that's actually the definition of a standardized class. Okay? If it is not, kunwari, kay teacher ganito lang siya. So, kumbaga, that is just a material. Okay? Fit for this respondent. Okay? It's not yet standardized. Okay? Yun yung mga standardized eh. Okay? Now, look at the picture class. Familiar na kayo rito. You can explain it as well in your instrumentation. Paano ang data gathering? Is it through paper and pen or in digital form? Okay? Kung digital form, you have to explain it class. Nagagamit kayo ng Google Form and data gathering kasi it's pandemic. Okay? Kaya kayo mag-digital form. Okay? And then, paki-explain din sa instrumentation paano validate yung questionnaire ninyo. Okay? you have to explain that, of course. Kung si statistician ba, gumamit ng SPSS, okay, gumamit ba siya, or how many experts. So, lahat yon ilalagay class sa instrumentation. Lahat ng gagawin ninyo class, with regards to your instrument, you will explain that in the instrumentation section here in chapter 3. Okay? Now, for data gathering procedure, of course, this is, when we say procedure, ito na yung process. Paano? Okay? Siyempre, you contact your respondents. Ganito, explain nyo muna, paano? Sino yung una nyong kinausap? Superintendent, down to teachers, and then to the students. So, yung process class. Okay? Nandirito sa data gathering procedures. So, iba siya. Napansin niyo, magkaiba siya. Yung sa instrument, paano na valid or paano nabuo yung instrument. Dito sa data gathering procedure, paano isinagawa yung pagkuha ng data. Okay? Alright. Now, in your statistical treatment class, ito nakasalalay din sa statistician ninyo. Okay? If you still remember your statistics subject, okay, the t-test, regression analysis, chi-square, ANOVA, multiple regression, okay, or the SPSS program. Yung SPSS, it is a software class. Hindi siya statistical tool. Baka sabihin nyo, pag tinanong, sige, discuss me the statistical treatment, sabi ng panelist ninyo. For our statistical treatment, we use SPSS. Well, pwede naman yung we use SPSS, pero kapag sinabi, anong statistical tool nyo? Ang sagot nyo ba dapat SPSS? Hindi. Okay? Kasi si SPSS is the brand name of the software. Okay? And inside the SPSS, application din siya parang sa cellphone, SPSS. Okay? Kung may dating app sa application, okay, ito naman is computation app. Napangiti si Alima, mukhang may dating app to sa cellphone. Hindi, joke lang. Okay. So, yun class. Inside the SPSS, meron different statistical tool. Okay? And of course, pag gumamit kayo ng SPSS, you have to ask that as well in your research statistician. Okay? Ma'am, of course, kasi explain yun what will be your statistical test that you are going to use in your study? Okay? Mag-ANOVA ba kayo? Magka-chi-square ba kayo? Magti-t-test ba kayo? Okay? Inside the SPSS. Okay? You got it, class? Yung iba naman sa inyo, medyo madali lang study. Sasabihin lang, kukunin lang natin yung weighted mean. Okay? By using SPSS. Okay? So, yun. So, software siya. Just for you not to misunderstood. Hindi siya statistical treatment. Okay? Si SPSS. Okay? Software siya. Alright? Questions? Questions? Joanna, nakakunot yung noo mo Mukhang may question kayo. Yes.
Hindi po, sir. Wala po.
Okay. Meron sa inyo class talagang total revision yung mga title. Yung iba talagang nawala na Okay. So, yun. Okay. Now, since you don't have any questions, let me just give this to you, class. Okay? Ito na yung final submission na gigradean ko. Okay? You have to remind your advisor that I'm gonna get your chapters 1 to 3 together with your Polish survey instrument. Okay? Now, some of you class are asking, sir, tama na po ba itong survey questionnaire namin, itong research instrument namin? Hindi kasi ako makakasagot niyan, class. That should undergo validation. Okay? Reliability test, validation, cronback analysis. And yung iba sa inyo, magpa-pilot testing pa. So, yung apat na yun, okay, ang mag-determine kung tama ba si research instrument ninyo. You got it, class? So you have to work on hand by hand with your research advisor. Kailangan yung mahalin si research advisor ninyo class kasi siya talaga ang sa inyo, mag-guide in writing. Okay? Alright? Any comments, suggestions? Questions? Okay. Are we clear on the submission?
Sir, walang panugit.
Sir,
Gagawa niyo akong palengke, tinatawaran niyo ako Okay. Alright. Yes, who's that? Iverson? Or Joel?
wala na sir. Extension po.
Today, bali,
Oo nga po,
this
sir.
is next week. Ganito muna, let's deal first until next week. Kasi yung majority sa inyo may nasulat ng chapters 1 to 3, aayusin na lang yung explanation. Kumbaga parang nung nag-consult kayo sa akin, parang napag-usapan natin na pwede pang ma-improve yung paper. Okay? Kasi ganito yan, class, yung checking ko, minor checking pa lang to. Pag dumaan yun sa mga panelists, nako, talagang, kasi ako, hindi ko pa kayo pwedeng i-scrutinize ng husto kasi mawawala yung knowledge ninyo dun sa paper ninyo. So, minor corrections pa lang yung binibigay ko sa inyo. Okay? Kasi, gigisahin naman kayo ng mga panelists, so, bibigay ko na sa mga panelists yun. Joke lang. Okay. Ang ibig ko ba sabihin, class, I am actually criticizing your paper in order to improve it. Okay? Not to scrutinize your group and get you offended on the comments. Okay? Tsaka ganun, class, huwag kayong ma-offend kapag dating sa defense or kapag may comment na hindi favorable sa inyo. Kasi kaya yun hindi favorable sa inyo kasi that is the thing that you don't understand in your paper. Okay? Also, huwag mag-name drop. Okay? Huwag mag-name drop especially sa defense. For example, sabi ni panel, Karen, bakit ganito ang statement of the problem nyo? Sir, sabi ni doktor ganito, ayan daw Parang gusto nyo sabihin, parang, hindi na pwedeng mabali yan, sir, kasi sabi ni doktor ganito. Di ba? Parang, parang padrino system or nag-name drop kayo, don't do that. Okay? Kasi pagdating sa defense, they will not ask sino nag-advise sa inyo nito. Kasi, advice lang naman yan. Kayo pa rin ang writer. Okay, so you have to know what are the things that you have in your paper. Okay? Alright. Questions? Joanna, magkasama pa rin kayo niya, Sa trabaho, magkasama kayo? Magkasama rin kayo sa bahay?
Yes, sir. Dito na ako nakatira.
I see. Okay. Good. Keep it up. Alright. Yeah, as long na you are getting productive by having each other, then go. Okay? So, sino yung kanyang... Anyways, of course, baka nga private. Okay? Princess,
Wait lang daw, sir. Pasok daw po siya.
okay.
Nawawala daw po siya.
Okay. So, if the other groups doesn't have any concern, siguro maiwan na lang muna yung group nila Princess kasi parang sila yung may concern. Okay?
Ay lang po, sir.
Alright. Happy lunchtime. Kasi it's already 1 o'clock.
Thank you po, sir.
Baka may preparation na kayo for other subject. Bye-bye.
Thank you po. Ay, sir,
Yes, Ali.
ano rin po, magpapa-consult din po kami sana sa inyo. Mamaya po, kung pagkatapos po nila, Princess po.
Sige.
Kung pwede pa po kayo, sir.
Sige, mag-off cam na lang muna kayo.
Sige po, sir.
Oo. Para kunyari wala kayo rito. Hindi niyo kunyari naririnig yung pinag-uusapan. Okay, anyways. Asan si Princess?
Sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Here po,